Today, IOHR is leaving London and we're going through the rolling British countryside to the town of Kettering. We'll be going with Tom Underwood. Now, Tom is an ambassador for the community sponsorship scheme, and he knows better than most exactly what it takes to resettle a refugee family, because he and the Rains Park Community Church were the very first community to welcome a Syrian refugee family right into the heart of their community. We'll be going to Kettering and Tom will be telling the locals exactly what it takes.
This is a security message. If you see something that doesn't look right, speak to staff or text the British Transport Police on 61016.
Tom, we're on a train, beautiful rolling countryside. Tell me where we're going and what the purpose of today is.
So today we're off to Kettering and we're going to talk to a group there about community sponsorship. So a group in the area have got some people who are interested in doing community sponsorship of refugees, and so there's going to be about 30 people. We're going to meet in the local church and I'm going to share some of my experiences of having been involved in community sponsorship in Rains Park in London.
Rains Park Community Church are the very first group in the UK to resettle a Syrian refugee family. Tell me what that experience was like.
Well, in the sense we were kind of jumping into the unknown, so we were very excited and but also a bit apprehensive as well. You know, none of us spoke Arabic, so how do you overcome that language barrier? And all those kind of questions going on.
Tom, tell me why it's important to leave the big towns and go to the smaller rural towns to spread the word of community sponsorship.
I think community sponsorship can be done anywhere. It's not something that needs to be done in a city. It can be done in any community. And we are now having more and more groups getting involved in community sponsorship, and some of them in Devon and in Butte where it's been really successful. So it does show that this is a scheme that doesn't just work in a city. This is a scheme that can work in any community that is willing to help.
And you are emotionally and financially responsible for a minimum of 2 years or
Yes.
until they become independent.
So I think it's around £9,000, but it is dependent on who is coming over and the size of the family, that kind of thing. So yes, you have to raise a certain amount of money. As I said, my name's Tom Underwood. Just to say a little bit about myself at the beginning is I'm a teacher, so I'm a full-time teacher. So as an ambassador for community sponsorship, for sponsor refugees, that's just something I kind of do in my spare time. So this is our family. So it says here, it takes a community to resettle a family. So our story has been very much one of working together as a community. So our family are from rural Syria. They did not speak any English when they came to the UK, and there are 5 in the family. There is mum, dad, and then there are 2 girls who are 11 and 10, and little Mohammed, who is just 3. So they were chosen by the UNHRC for community sponsorship as they were a vulnerable family. And the reason they're vulnerable is because they have, one of the girls has medical problems. And we took them to the park. So we showed them where the park was, how to walk there from their house, and then the children played in the park. And then as they played in the park, one of the team came up to me and said, "This is the first time those children will ever have been to a park." So actually none of us had experience of working with refugees. None of us really had experience of working kind of multiculturally, if we're honest. But we had a passion, we had a heart, and we had a willingness, and we knew the local area. And those were kind of the important skills that we needed. So community sponsorship really is for everybody. People do not need to have a specialism in working with refugees. You need to have a willingness, and you need to have some time, And you need to have a community. It really does take a community.
We know they have a younger boy and a 9-year-old and a 10-year-old girl. So this room is going to be for the girls of the family.
And I think probably from a personal level, we've lived in another country where we haven't spoken the language. We know what it's like to be an alien or a stranger, and to need community to help you to live in a situation where you don't speak the language and you don't know, you need introducing into how to fit in.
I'm here because I guess a bit frustrated with our attitude of our country to refugees, that perhaps we're not as positive as we could be, and perhaps this area isn't as positive as it could be. So it would be good to respond to the need of the many refugees that there are, and to try to engage with the process here.
Northampton town itself is very multicultural, and we have people from all sorts of places. We also are a town of Northampton is a town of sanctuary, and we have a lot of unaccompanied young persons.
And his expertise and his knowledge really came through in that presentation, and I think it really inspired the people within the room, but also practically it gave them some ideas on how to move forward.
I think there's a lot of fear. I moved here from London some years ago and was very surprised at the lack of a multi-ethnic community.
Well, I'm really positive for this, and I think and I hope that this will be a very, very positive move forward for Kettering, and also in light of what happens in terms of Brexit, just a nice reminder of the fact that that not everyone is against people coming in from outside.
Kettering is a thriving market town located in North Northamptonshire. It's 81 miles north of London, and the name dates back to the Anglo-Saxon area and means Ketter's people. The local area provides green countryside, a bustling market town, and an abundance of attractions, galleries, theatres and a cathedral. It's one of the fastest growing areas in the UK and currently has close to 45,000 households. Could that number be set to rise with the addition of a Syrian refugee family? Time will tell. Sarah, you're chair of the committee. It's been a great success today, hasn't it?
Yeah, it was very good. Yeah, very helpful. Yeah.
Can I ask you to show me around Kettering?
Yeah, okay, let's go. Yeah. I'm really pleased, and the quality of the turnout, because a couple of people are still looking at doing their own groups, and so that's been really helpful for them. I think there are misconceptions in these sorts of towns, yes. I don't think it's because it's rural, because knowing other rural towns, that doesn't actually happen, and even where other refugees have been settled have been quite rural and small communities. But I do think that, yes, there can be, I think, a sense of just any newcomer coming into a town where a lot of people have been here for hundreds of years. Well, I just do think that after today, that's encouraged a lot of people to feel that Kettering can do it.
Well, it's been a day of learning and sharing here in Kettering. The local community turned out in force to listen to Tom Underwood sharing his experience on what's involved and exactly what it takes to resettle a refugee family right in the heart of their community, the highs as well as the lows. For Kettering, this is the first step, a fact-finding mission if you like. We'll check back with Tom later and see what happened.